like real estate blogs that are aggregators will blog about our band by accident because they think it's real estate news. So you'll see like a promotional blurb about our album on like a realtor's website.
New Jersey band Real Estate is happy for the attention. Realtors and the rest of us are welcome to enjoy the group's low-key approach to suburban musical bliss. Central New Jersey-based indie rockers took the GW here to the Bronx for a chat, plus a musical show and tell from the new album called Days. It's all here on FUV's Words and Music from Studio A with Real Estate. Hi, it's Russ Boris. The band Real Estate formed in Ridgewood, New Jersey over 3 years ago, but the guys have played together for quite a bit longer than that. Among other things, they had a Weezer cover band in high school, but they went their separate ways for college. Singer and guitarist Martin Courtney played with the punk-inflected indie act Titus Andronicus, while guitarist Matthew Mondenial started his side project DuckTales. After they came back together in the summer of '08, Real Estate was born, putting out several singles, and finally its critically acclaimed self-titled debut in 2009. The band then went on tour with Girls, Kurt Vile, Woods, and Deer Hunter, honing their laid-back but oddly arresting sound as they prepared for their sophomore release. To make it, Real Estate enlisted Titus Andronicus producer Kevin McMahon to oversee the project, and the terrific result is the new album called Days. Real Estate recently came into Studio A for a visit, so I asked them how it all came together.
Well, we recorded the record up in New Paltz, New York, and it was actually sort of our first time in a professional studio, but in a way not super professional because it was actually in this old converted barn with our good friend and producer Kevin McMahon, who we've known for a long time. So it's cool. It's this cool marriage of sort of like definitely a more hi-fi sound, but also like a homey, like do-it-yourself version of a hi-fi sound.
Was that sort of the goal going in? Let's try to find sort of an alternate location, or you didn't really have anywhere in particular?
It's just his studio was there, and we wanted to record there.
We had him in mind.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, let's go where he is.
And some of our friends' bands recorded there, so they said they had a good time.
And how did this differ from the first record you guys did?
The first record was really recorded in like the town that we grew up in, our friend's attic, and some of it was recorded on like at home on like a cassette 8-track. So it was kind of more of a compilation of songs that we put together as an album, maybe in a way. It was still our first album, but this one's more of like an album written, I guess, in its own self. It like contains itself.
Yeah, the first record was kind of like recorded all over the place. So yeah, it almost did feel like a compilation when we eventually put it together, because it was like the songs were recorded over the course of like 8 months or something like that, you know, like. And this time it was all done at once in one place, and that was kind of that was one of the goals, was to sort of, or for the second record, the goal was to sort of do it all at once instead of kind of piecing it together, I guess.
How's that work with the songwriting? You guys kind of sit down collaboratively, or is it, individual songs and you kind of bring them to the table and talk to the other members about them?
It depends on the song, I think. It's like, per song. So some of the songs are written as a group, some of them aren't, it's like, yeah, it was kind of like the first record was more, I don't know, yeah, it's the same kind of process. It's like, we like either I'll bring a song to practice and we'll all kind of learn it and learn either like write our own parts, and like, I don't know, we'll write songs through jamming and stuff. I don't know. It kind of depends on each song. You
have sort of like the entire time that you tour like a single record to come up with what your next record's going to be, So like, it's sort of like we're touring all this time behind like our first album, but like the second album comes together in that time. So like some songs get thrown into the pot and stick for the whole time and then end up on the record, and then some don't really, you have that sort of time to like try out what's going to work and what's eventually going to like make it onto the record.
So listeners are sort of, getting behind the first batch of songs, and you guys are a little bit ahead, and working towards the next.
I think, yeah, we're already like working on our next record now.
Right. You want to play something live for us?
Sure. This is the first song on the album, actually.
Real Estate live on the alternate side, and the one that opens up the new album called Days, that is Easy. Is that the first one you guys wrote for the record?
No.
Just,
not at all.
It kind of sets the tone, though. I mean, in title, it's kind of interesting because it sounds easy, which is, sort of the feel of the album where, listening-wise, there's something kind of light about the record. But at the same time, everything seems kind of well-crafted, so it seems as though it probably wasn't that easy to record it.
That's interesting. But no, I mean, no, that song was actually one of the last ones we wrote, actually, for the record. There's some old ones on there, or old relative to a lot of the other ones.
How's the recording process work for you guys, though? Are you kind of really meticulous about every, part of the songs? Because they feel, while the songs kind of breeze by listening to them, as the listener, but, as the bandmates, and it's got to be kind of a different process.
This record was a lot more meticulous than we were used to working, I think. A lot of that came from Kevin, who we worked with, who was really pushing us. Like, certain takes, we'd be like, okay, that's fine. He's like, actually, it's not fine. It sounds out of tune. We're like, what are you talking about? I tuned my guitar, But he's like, going up all the way on the neck and checking the intonation, making sure, like, everything is as good as possible. And, like, that was something we definitely had to get used to, So I guess to answer your question, yeah, like, we were pretty meticulous on the record. I mean, you don't want to, like, make it devoid of soul, though, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's a happy balance. You don't want to get obsessed with perfection.
Has that changed you guys, though, as far as, being out on the road and sound checking, stuff like that?
I think it's actually helped, like, in terms of, at least for me, singing, spending a lot of time trying to get the vocals right has kind of helped me as a singer. But I think actually, like, in terms of, like, getting each part right was, it was pretty meticulous. But I think in terms of the arrangements, like, on this record, it doesn't feel like we did it that much differently than we've done in the past, which is, like, kind of like, I don't think we, like, spent a lot of time in the studio coming up with, like, really cool, like, new arrangements or, like, coming up with different parts and stuff. Like, we'd be like, let's add some keyboard here, and, like...
Feels like more of, like, a lot of little stuff than...
Yeah, I mean, the same way on the first
ideas.
record, there's a lot of little things there, too. Maybe it's not as easy to hear because they're, like, kind of... We mixed it ourselves, and, it's like, we didn't do as good of a job recording it.
The new record's definitely less bare bones than the first record, though, because there's keyboard on more of the songs and, like, auxiliary percussion and things like that, just to make the sound a little bit more full, I guess.
The melodies are really rich, and it kind of runs all together throughout the record. I mean, the way the guitars all blend is pretty beautiful because they're complementing each other, whereas, certain, records you can hear them, they're almost fighting. But here it seems like the melodies go together and they blend better.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know why that is.
You want to play another live one?
Sure.
It's real? Yeah. We'll do
Yeah, this one's called It's Real.
Sometimes I feel like I don't know
It's Real Estate on the alternate side. It's Real is the name of that one from the album called Days. Sounded great, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, you guys have known each other for a while. You grew up in the same area in Jersey, so did you start writing songs, as teenagers?
Pretty much, yeah.
Kind of. I mean, I didn't. Did you? I don't know. I mean, I didn't write a song until like I was 18.
You would
or
always
something.
write little things though. You were in like a million bands.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
played
you
together
read-
a lot. You
yeah.
know, and like Alex and I played in a band where like we did a lot of covers, and like me, Matt, and Alex played in a band together. Or, I
We
guess it wasn't
recorded
really
like
a
a
band.
4-song EP.
It was like a recording
when we were, like,
project.
in high-
Maybe that was our first.
When we were definitely teenagers.
Hey, they're sexy.
It's our first
We definitely
foray
teenagers.
into.
And we all wrote that
Recording.
album together. It's not like
Yeah.
one person wrote
Yeah.
that album.
4 songs, yeah.
So there's that. Yeah.
So
but
what were the cover bands?
Well, no, they were in a cover
We were
band called
in a
Mark,
cover
based
band.
after the Empire Records guy
Mark
in that movie.
with a C.
But they covered like a ton of different songs from various artists.
From Leonard Skinner to Ben Folds 5.
And I
So,
think like the Tetris song,
Ozma, the band
the
Ozma.
song for
Ozma.
Tetris,
The Tetris song.
right?
It was
Yeah.
a cover
Played
of
that
a
a
cover.
bunch.
It was a cover of a cover.
No,
They're-
it's the actual name of
They're
it
pretty
though.
nerdy.
What?
Weezer covers. And
What was the
all that
actual name of it?
Of the Tetris song.
Well, that was like, it's a Russian folk song
Yeah.
that Ozma covered because it was a Tetris song, and we
Yeah.
covered their rendition of it. And they were pretty much a Weezer cover band. But they were great. They had original songs.
It's funny because usually you get band influences. It's like, oh yeah, Beatles, Stones, Tetris song.
who's
Kind of
that?
works itself in there at some point in time.
Yeah, I guess.
It was a hit.
It was.
I'm
A,
I'm
it
not
was a high
denying its
school
hit status.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Matt kind of taught me how to play guitar in a lot of ways.
Really?
Well, like, yeah, I used to come over to your house after school. Like, we had the same guitar teacher,
Yeah.
and then we had lessons on the same day. And then after lessons, I would come to your house, and you'd be like, "You want to learn how to play?"
Yeah.
Dixie
I met
song?"
Martin because my friend who took bass lessons from the same guy as Martin, and he said, "Oh, you should meet my friend Martin. He plays bass or something. He takes bass."
Yeah,
lessons.
and all those old bands, I never played guitar. I always played bass.
He
I didn't
started
know
out
how to
on
play
bass.
guitar.
I started out as a drummer, and Bleeker, I guess, just learned guitar.
I was
Bleeker
playing
started out as a vocalist.
Oh yeah,
Solo
started out as
vocalist.
vocalist.
Solo
Yeah,
vocalist.
just vocals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you guys eventually figured out, to be a functioning band at some point.
We
Yeah.
had to go to college first.
The
Yeah.
first shows of this band were just the 3 of us playing, each switching off on instruments for almost all the songs. Like 3 songs by this person, 3 songs by this
and playing
person.
each other's songs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's evolved.
Now, the Jersey element definitely comes into play on this record because there's a lot of, sort of suburban feels to it. But it's most definitely different because I'm a Jersey guy, too. So I get when people come up to you and they ask you about Jersey and they just talk to you about Jersey Shore or something like that. And you kind of look at them like you just want to punch them in the face.
Where in Jersey are you from?
Central Jersey. So.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's Jersey has all that. It's like it's not wrong to talk
Right.
about like the Jersey Shore element, but there's also like a lot more. It's much more complex than just like
Right, you're almost in a constant defense of your state.
Right.
Yeah, and it makes
It's
you
true.
like really proud of your state.
Yeah.
because you're forced to be. You know?
Yeah.
Jonah and Jackson are from New York.
So then there's
Brooklyn
the fighting.
and
There's
Manhattan.
the infighting. Yeah.
We
But
just thought-
we moved to
so
the
New York looks
we're-
down
we moved to
upon
their
us.
city. So.
But we're like, we're just more of a tri-state band than we ever have been before.
Well, the funny
dual
thing,
state.
when the first record came out, was trying to Google this band and look up New Jersey real estate,
Right.
Oh yeah.
which really kind of it's an endless loop. And then I looked up Beachcomber, and there was actually something.
There's probably
there was,
something called
There was
Beachcomber
actually
real
like
estate.
Beachcomber real estate or something, and I was about to lose my mind.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm never going to find anything about this band
Yeah,
ever.
it's kind of hard.
It's really hard, and it's
Real
funny
estate
actually.
days,
It just-
sunny day real estate.
There's like real estate blogs that are aggregators will blog about our band by accident because they think it's real estate news. So you'll see like a promotional blurb about our album on like a realtor's website, realtor's blog.
This is true.
You get like
So it was actually a grand marketing scheme from the beginning. Then
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we figured people would
Exactly.
see the band name everywhere they go, so
Yeah.
that was a big thing. No, we didn't actually think about that.
Real Estate is live with us, Studio A, here on the alternate side. And play another live one, please.
Sure.
Monday morning? Yeah.
It's 3 blocks.
Real Estate live on the alternate side. Another live one from the record called Days. Sounded really great, guys.
Thank you.
You know, we were talking about the melody of the guitars earlier, and one of the other things that I think kind of runs through this record is the songs have kind of this sort of timeless feel to them, that there may be a little bit of Smiths in there, but there might also be, you know, elements of the Byrds or something. So are there certain songs or maybe even certain guitar players that influenced you?
That's a tough one. Where to begin? I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, what were we listening to a lot when we were coming up with like writing this record and stuff?
I think we listened to the Feelies, and that's a New Jersey
That's
band.
true. That actually was a thing
I
that
always
we
hear
came
him
to a
playing
lot.
that, and I know that he listens to Yellow Tango a lot, and all the time, kind of. The Feelies. I was listening to Felt a lot. I think we're playing that in the van. Cleaners from Venus is another British band that we all listen to.
I think
a little
it's
bit.
funny that you said the Smiths though, because you did have a little Smiths binge.
I'm
for a
really
minute during the record.
I go in and out of loving the Smiths. Whenever I hear a Smiths song, I really like it.
So what put you out of the love?
Sometimes it's boring to listen to a lot of it.
It's
It's all really repetitive.
If we listen to
Same
too
kind
much
of-
Smiths,
he doesn't like if we listen to too much of it.
it
Yeah.
drives me crazy.
But guitar players, I have to say that I'm
Are we hating on Maz or are we hating on Johnny Marr?
No hate.
Johnny
No,
Marr's
but-
cool. We
hate.
actually met Andy
Andy Rourke.
Andy Rourke, the
Rourke.
bass player. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Don't ask him about Maz, though.
Really
I
nice
think that
guy.
doesn't go well.
The guitar player.
Yeah. And no,
Well, he
Andy
got
Rourke,
kicked out.
because there's a lot of hate there, I think.
He plays in like indie bands now in the UK.
Yeah, he does.
Johnny Marr,
Mm-hmm.
like Modest Mouse, toured with Modest Mouse.
But yeah, I mean, mostly, I think the Feelies was like kind of a big thing for us when we were coming up, like when we were like trying to come up with the sound. I think for this record, it was like, you know, a lot of like strummy acoustic guitars and stuff.
The songs, they seem to reference, you know, obviously it's certain a vibe and a certain feel. Are there specific moments that they, you know, influenced times in your life or, you know, anything specific?
I guess, like, yeah, a lot of it was kind of like about like the same as the first record is kind of about like the town that we grew up in, or kind of like referencing a certain time, like maybe like of being like 17 or something.
I feel like this
driving
is
around in
more
a
of
car.
like a traveling record. Like
yeah, there's a lot of
maybe
like
reflecting on where you're from, but like after like traveling somewhere else and like having that perspective on it.
yeah, it's like a lot of the first record was like about the like being back in the town where we grew up in and how weird that was, and now it's kind of like being away from it and also having had all these other experiences. Like you can't kind of like get away from the fact that like we spent a lot of time on the road over the past 2 years, so like that kind of like I think influenced it a lot. And I don't know, it's weird, you know. There's a lot of hometown references.
There's kind of a coming of age, you know, feel to it, but it's not just, you know, it's not just lyrically. I think it's also kind of musically because it feels like you guys are kind of in a different place, you know, with where you've taken the band.
Yeah. I mean, I think we kind of tried to make it sound a little more, I don't know, professional or just better.
It's
Than
gonna
the first
sound like
record.
sort of redundant, but it's the record that it makes sense to have come from us at this point in time in our lives. I mean, that's like really an obvious thing in a certain way, but it's also sort of like, I think the first record was very much like that's where we were at. It was home. We were recording wherever and whenever we could, and now it's more like, wow, we're in this band and like we can go into a studio and record it, and it's just sort of like the natural evolution of things, I guess.
We got Real Estate live with us in Studio A. You want to do one more for us?
Sure. This one's an instrumental.
Real Estate live on the alternate side, and the one from Days, the instrumental called Kinder Bloomin'. How does that kind of come together for you guys? You decided I'm not going to go with writing any lyrics on a song? Is that sort of jamming, or it just becomes a song unto itself?
Yeah,
We never wrote lyrics for the song, but it wasn't really at first intended to be an instrumental.
yeah, we played it a lot, like live, like on a whole tour, like as an instrumental, like always kind of with the intention of coming up with words eventually. But then we kind of
Kept it as an instrumental.
Since we played it so long,
we
just,
played
like,
it for
didn't
so
make
long
any
as an
sense.
instrumental, and we were like, let's try and add some vocals to this, and it just seemed weird.
Didn't make sense at that point.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we like it, and it's good. Like I liked on the first record how we had like 2 instrumental tracks, and it's kind of cool to keep that as like a tradition of like having an instrumental on the record.
There's a little bit of that Johnny Marr element in that, too. I mean, I'm hearing that, at least to me, listening to that song, I do hear a little of that Smiths influence.
Really?
I was thinking about that while we were playing it because you mentioned it. Maybe in the bridge part or something, just the tone or like something like
there's
that.
a little something in
It might
there.
be subconscious, but yeah, it's in there.
That's cool, I guess.
Real Estate live with us. Guys, thanks very much for coming in today. We do appreciate it, and good luck with the record.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This is the point where we sort of let you take over and play DJ if you want. So if there's something you'd want us to play on the radio, what would it be?
Wow. You got any Prefab Sprout?
We'll make it happen.
Prefab Sprout, Bonnie.
Bonnie Prefab Sprout on Two Wheels Good.
All right, here it is.
All I stole and I took from you, but Barney don't live at home. 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 Barney don't live at home.
That's Bonnie by Prefab Sprout, a guest DJ pick by the band Real Estate. Our session was engineered by Big John Stein, and Words and Music from Studio A was produced today by Sarah Lilly. Visit our archives at WFUV.org to hear this program and more exclusive conversations and performances. Thanks for listening. I'm Russ Boris for 90.7 WFUV in New York.